Hello everybody, I'm Stephanie, aka howls-moving-feels, and this is my post-it forward video. When I was growing up, I was always really good at school and academics. Things just kind of seemed to come easily to me. The most experience I really had with mental health issues was minor bouts of depression, but I feel like everyone has that at some point in their lives. So, kind of not a big deal. But then something happened about 3 weeks ago where one of my close friends, in fact a person that I really love, physically attacked me. They did not harm me, and they didn't harm the other person who was there, but it terrified me. I was scared of everybody and everything for several days after the fact. And that was really hard, and it was really scary, and I saw myself retreating into myself and becoming less and less like the person that I know I am. So, based on that, and seeing someone I love just snap psychologically, I wrote this essay called In the Grip. I started writing it the night that I was attacked, before anything had actually happened. It was just kind of me reflecting on, what happens when a person goes distant and becomes not themselves and their subconscious takes over. But then, once he actually attacked me, I finished writing it, and I've only shown it to a couple of people before, so this is kind of a big deal. So, my sleeve's doing something stupid. There we go. Oh, that's better. So this is my essay, and I'm just going to read it, so pardon any reading errors that I might have. So it's called In the Grip. I used to think that disturbed people are never aware that they are slipping away. It always seemed like if something was out of their control, their mind would block them from realizing what or who they were becoming, so the illness would run its full course. Disturbances are frightening to those around them, particularly to those closest to them. They have no idea what they look like to others, and thus are impotent to stop it. So often I've pictured a ghastly figure floating through a dim daily existence. The world is dead to them, though they continue to insist that they are alive. The world sees them as an outcast, so far gone as to be beyond help. What most people don't realize, though, is how in touch many mental invalids actually are. Few realize that there is a very fine line between disturbance and insanity. Many walk this line, but few outside this realm realize the danger that lies there. I need to increase the font size of this. I can't read anything. There we go. Okay. I have discovered a reality far more terrifying than the deluded invalid. By far the most frightening person to watch is the one who knows full well that they are being dragged into insanity, but can do nothing about it. They are perpetually disturbed, but to varying degrees. They tell you that they aren't here right now. They tell you they aren't the same person they used to be and will probably never recover. They tell you that you're lucky there's still some of them left. When they're present, it's all fine. You can joke and laugh and make fun of them the way that you always have. For no reason, set off by no trigger, they will vanish, sometimes slowly, sometimes very quickly. The former is more torturous, but more easily prevented. At least you can do something to stop the gradual transformation. The latter is another matter entirely. One moment you're looking at the person you know, the person you love, laughing and smiling like they always have. The next, their conscious self has vanished, leaving a skeletal, unpredictable subconscious that doesn't remember you. They may recede into themselves, turning into a pitiful, sad version of themselves that is as skittish as a gerbil with movements as deliberate as a sloth's. This event is disturbing to watch, but there's little chance of the person causing anyone any harm. They may also switch off their humanity in an unpredictable moment and become a feral animal, like a lion or gargoyle. They do not have a conscience. They do not care that you are smaller and weaker than they are. They do not think that they could actually hurt you. They act on instinct. They force fear. The look in their eyes is inhuman. There's nothing standing between you and physical danger except the sheer will in your eyes fighting the brutality in theirs. You know you have to be stronger in spirit because you are nowhere near physically strong enough to restrain them. 1 second, you're standing and have an advantage. The next, you're thrown down in the vice grip of someone no longer present. The mental and physical shock to your system sinks in once you're safe. Slowly, you feel yourself fighting back tears every time you think of them. You know he wasn't himself and didn't mean to harm you, but you still struggle to hold yourself together when you replay the look in his eyes, feel the strong hand clenched around your arm, remember the distance your mind created between you and him. All it took was one slip of the aware mind, the mind that will remember what he did but has no concept of the damage done, to break you. It seems worse that he knew exactly what he was doing but could not control it. Why? Because it could happen to you. Completely losing awareness seems far less feasible than knowing what you're doing is harmful and not having the willpower to stop. If the right buttons in your brain got pushed, you could end up like him, which is the last thing you want. You could never forgive yourself if you hurt anyone. It seems like he can. Well, what do you expect him to do? Put up a facade? Pretend that he's alright? Do whatever it takes to protect everyone around him? Is it selfish to ask that he restrain himself and stay away from people if he can't? Or is it not reasonable to ask him to warn you when he's losing himself? All these questions depend on how much of the invalid you think is left. Perhaps they have been putting up a facade for so long that they couldn't do it anymore. Perhaps treating them normally was a mistake. Then again, you've had to tiptoe around everyone else's needs for your entire life. Something has to give eventually. Is it really too much to ask that people just act normally for once? But this is the norm. The brink of insanity is always present, though some people are closer to the edge than others. Some can fall but pull themselves up. Some never come close to the edge, and some rush the precipice at full speed and throw themselves over it. Stop for a moment and consider yourself. You could be the ghastly figure of sad books, the docile wanderer of the world, or the violent monster of horror stories. If you can pick your fate, choose wisely how aware you will be. Be wary, because you can never be sure whom you are going to hurt. And that's all I wrote. So after the incident, it opened me up to physical symptoms of anxiety, which I'd never experienced before. I would clench my fist so that my arms would shake. I began disassociating as well, which was really scary. I scared a lot of my friends because they were like, you are turning into him. You're turning into the guy that hurt you. Which was absolutely not what I wanted to do, but that was the only way I could feel normal. That's just what I did. I can't say that I'm better now, because I still dissociate sometimes. I mean, this only happened 3 weeks ago, and, you know, the workload of school just ended like a week ago for me. But it'll get better.